Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. We are in the next part of our Cyberlabz attack range video series. If you watched the last video, you saw how we made our way into the DMZ and how we were able to proxy exploits and scanning and things of that nature and use creds further into the DMZ. So we're going to focus a little bit more on the proxying piece and see if we can't establish a foothold using a different C2 such as Empire, or maybe using some proxy settings or some SOX proxy through Sliver, so we can proxy some additional other tools like Impacket and crap map exec over SMB, and using credentials that we've found via our Recon in previous stages. So yeah, we're gonna definitely kind of focus on some other areas before we try to get a little bit deeper into the Cyberlabz corp domain, right? So yeah, we're pretty much right here in this process, and what we want to do is we want to find that one endpoint that may have that misconfiguration or some sort of connection into the domain, the Cyberlabz domain, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and get it going. Here's Empire. Actually, this is Star Killer, the web GUI interface into the Empire C2 server. So shout out to BC Security and their team, and Coin, Hubble, and Vinibod, and all those folks. Such a great C2 and such a great web GUI interface. We'll definitely dive back into this in a moment, but we're going to be focusing on that WordPress website that we had initially exploited and then natted down to the DMZ. So this is Sliver as well, if you're familiar with Sliver, Metasploit, and then Empire here. So we're going to go ahead and throw the RCE exploit at that WordPress site again, and then we're going to see if we can't upload a Sliver binary to the Linux endpoint and then use the proxy settings to Sliver to then use Impacket or crap map exec to then throw a potential binary from Empire onto a Windows host that we have, and kind of just switch up through a bunch of different C2s. So hopefully it's not too confusing. So if you're familiar with Metasploit, it should be fairly easy to fire up. Just look at the other videos we had before this, and you'll see kind of where we're at in the whole Metasploit setup for this RCE on this vulnerable WordPress plugin, right? So let's go ahead and throw the exploit at it one more time and see if we can get a callback to our interpreter session right there, as you see, and we'll let that go. And what we want to do while that's running right there, we want to go over here to Sliver and we want to stand up our profiles and our stage listeners and create a binary, a beacon payload that we can upload and execute on the endpoint, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So what we want to do is we'll go ahead and profiles, new beacon, and then the architecture will be, it's going to be for Linux, and then MTLS, and then our Sliver C2 server, and then we'll just do 4433 format. We'll do some, I guess we do some evasion flags if we want to. Timeout 100 seconds for 5, and let me pull this over a little bit so you can see this better. Okay, and seconds 5, and then tac jitter be just 1, and no, maybe I got that right. Invalid. New beacon arch. Invalid use of beacon. What did I do wrong? You know what? Tell you what, we'll do this. This is why I have my notes. All right, so profiles, new beacon, AMD 64, OS Linux, MTLS, RIP, port, ELF format, evasion, timeout, seconds jitter, and there we go. And so now we'll just do stage listener, type URL, HTTPS, 7443. The profile will be no rules. All right, and we'll let that build. Go back over here and check on our. Cool, that's good right there. We'll just leave this how it is because we're going to want to upload that binary to it. Actually, we'll probably just do a wget from the Sliver server. And we'll let this build for right now. Then after that, we're going to start up our second MTLS listening host on that 4433 for that profile. So let's just take just another second or so. Okay, that's good. And here, go ahead and spin this up. This is for our MTLS listener. And then we'll go ahead and create a beacon for that particular stage listener on 7443, right? So we have that. Now let's go over here and get a shell. And once we get a shell, we want to make sure that we can kind of, you know, stabilize things a little bit. So Python 3 tech C, I think import apty spawn, and then right here is going to be bash. Okay, nice, there we are. So this should be done, and looks like it is done. It's saved in root. Actually, so we'll go ahead and head over to root, and let's move that to payloads. We'll change over to payloads. All right, there we are. So we're going to want to get that one here in a moment. All right, so we'll do this. We can serve it up. Python 3, TACM, HTTP, server, and we'll just do 80, right? Okay, so we have no sessions and no beacons for now, of course. Cut back over here to Metasploit, and we'll just do a wget, and we'll pull this down onto our Sliver server. Yep, that's it. And it's going to be called Tough Relation. Interesting. Actually, we'll just do this. Maybe we can do 80. Do it like that. All right, there it is. And so we have that on. And there we go. We fire that off, and we should get a callback right there. So here we have beacons, and we can use our first beacon, and then we can generate a session, which is interactive, and then it'll call back. So we have a more live. Instead of a beacon interval, we'll have like a more of a open communication with the endpoint through this session, so to speak. And then we can use SOCKS proxy and things like that, right? Exit out of here, and we'll wait for the session to establish, and then we'll just nano our proxy chains. And let's see what we have here. So 1082, we could probably change that to 1081. SOCKS 5. And let's see, do we have any sessions yet? No sessions. We have the beacon. Ah, there it is. Okay. So we're going to use this one right here. There we go. All right, and then we'll do SOCKS. Let's start All right, 1081. Now what we're going to do is, we know after a much enduring recon, we were able to find another server in the DMZ, right? So what we can do is we can do some proxy chain scanning into the server, right? Or into the DMZ using proxy chains. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and proxy chains in map, and this will be for no ping st, and then we'll just do full 45, and then on the host that we eventually found, which was .138 this time, we'll go ahead and fire that off through our proxy chain setup through essentially our WordPress website. We hit the 200 and we natted down into the DMZ to a DMZ IP, and then once we were able, so if we do this right here, you'll see, I don't know if it'll show it or not, but it'll show the actual 210.10.100. That's the WAN IP right there. But if we get a shell and we do this, you can see that our internal IP is in the DMZ for the natting down piece, like we discussed in the previous videos. And through that conduit, through that SOCKS proxy, we're able to scan further into the DMZ, and after a prolonged period of time, we come across other hosts. And we could potentially use creds that we found originally, such as Larry's, right? And so what can we do with that? Well, what we can do is we can use things such as proxy chains and Impacket. And we can use those creds. All right, so let's just do proxy, and we know port 445 is open on this host, so it might be a Windows host. So we're going to use Impacket, and then let's use Larry, and then we're going to do the best pass ever, right? At 199.215.138, and then we'll just execute system info to see if we can get anything back. I think this is good. Okay, boom. So we get some information back by using pretty cool tool. We're using proxy chains and Impacket to execute a command and then pull that data back, and we could see that we're dealing with a Windows device 2016 server. Very nice. So this would definitely be a good option to use with something such as Empire, right? Sliver has its advantages, Metasploit has its advantages, and so does Empire. So it's good to kind of get to see all the different features. So let's do this. We know we're dealing with a Windows 2016 server. Let's go back over here to Empire, and we'll go to stagers, and we'll create a C# stager. But then we'll use the Iron Python. Actually, we'll just use the standard C# language. I wonder if this one would work. We could actually use Iron Python. Let's try that out first. We'll just put DMZ 2016, right? And we'll see if we can get this going. And we'll just say Notepad. Submit that. Come back over here to our Empire server. You know what we should have done, actually? Let's do it to this client real quick so we can download it, because I'm connected, through tunneling and things like that. I don't want to download it onto this local box. So let's get rid of this for right now. Yes, we'll go back over here to Empire, and we'll go to use stager C#, and then we'll set listener to HTTPS. And let's see, set out file to notepad.exe. We'll execute. Cool deal. Let's get out of this right now. Now let's go back to our regular user. We'll just remove anything in here. I don't think there's anything in this directory. Cool. So let's just do cp notepad.exe. Right here. Actually, we got to sudo that because it's in root. Nope, that's not gonna work right there neither. There, yeah. All right. And we do this sudo python, we'll serve it up on 8080 on our Empire server. So now we have an Empire payload we're going to pull down from our Sliver server, 2 different IPs, kind of split the infrastructure up a little bit through SOCKS proxy. And what we'll do here is we will use crack map exec for this one. Okay. And we'll use Larry's password. So I just got some notes over here. It's easy to copy and paste. All right, go ahead and get this over. Actually, let me make one last adjustment. All right, so this should work right here from our Sliver server. And this is who I am. All right, we're gonna pull that down from our Empire server. Right here, out file, see if that works. All right, so status logon failure. Let's see here. Let's see where it's at. Got Larry's password wrong. It's the best pass ever, bang. Because it's really not the best pass ever. So status logon failure. Which is not a problem. Let's see the bet. Oh, that's why. It's ever supposed to be pass. Oops. All right, there we go. All right, so we got that right there. Now we should execute it and see if we get a callback. And if we see right here, we don't have any agents call it back yet, right? But let's try this and see if we can get it to execute real quick. And we have our callback. Cool deal. So I love the graph feature. Like, it's really awesome. You can right click right here and then, you know, pop it out. So just do like a pop out right here, or you can just like add it to your tab if you want to. So we could do this, open in a new tab. And what we can do is we can actually open up the shell here and start doing some digging around a little bit, right? So let's see here. Let's just query user and just see who's all on here, right? And so we'll see who has a logon session, who doesn't have a logon session. And we see that Larry has a RDP session onto this box that's in the DMZ. So that's quite interesting there. So let's see where they are actually coming from. So netstat, attack ANO, like find string 3389, and we'll see if we can get a more granular look at the connections that is occurring from this workstation. And we see indeed there is an RDP session from the 10.10.200.25 area, which is really interesting. So we are not able to get to this. This could be definitely the inside of the corp network. So as you saw, we were able to use various different C2s and penetration frameworks to make our way into the DMZ, use Impacket, crack map exec, some nifty commands to kind of get some more information using the creds. You know, it's not a non-common thing for, you know, administrators to use the same creds like everywhere, right? So just keep that in mind. And also have my security onion stood up, just kind of looking at all the traffic. Don't really see much going on because I'm still working with tuning 2.4.0 and all of its coolness. So yeah, still working with that a little bit. But to go back to here, just to recap, we used Metasploit, we got to the DMZ again, we over a long period of time did some more recon. What we did is we found that right here there was a DMZ server that Larry had used the same creds to get onto. Apparently now he has an RDP session. If you get a little bit closer, I think our next steps are going to be trying to pivot into the DMZ network, or to the Corp network from the DMZ, and then just start causing all kinds of havoc using all kinds of tools and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little interesting because I have Elastic agents installed on the hosts that are in the Corp network. So we're going to see what that looks like as well, and then try to do like a little bit of red on blue. But I'm going to pause it here and go on to the next video, hopefully make one pretty soon, and show all some nifty cool tricks and tips how to use Empire. I want to try to stick with Empire because I want to show the graph view and everything like that, so everyone has like that visual representation. But yeah, leave comments below. Let me know if you like the video or not, or what you might want to see as if we pivot into the Corp network and what that looks like, and maybe some things that you'd like to see. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys take it easy.